That's smooth. All right, everyone, welcome back to WunderCAST. As always, I'm Ryker Taylor. I'm joined with producer Alex, and we have a very special guest today, Chanda Allen. Politics, business, the whole nine. So I'm excited to talk with you and just see all about that you know and your experiences and stuff like that. So let's delve on into it. Chanda, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got here, what you do, all that fun stuff.
Well, currently my new gig is I'm the owner of Antiquology. So
okay, yep.
Love history, love politics, and so I decided, after I worked for Congressman Nagelbauer for 11 years, and so after he retired, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and my husband said, well, why don't you start a junk shop with all that crap you like to collect? I said, nice. All right, maybe so. I don't know, maybe not.
Get it out of the garage.
Yeah. So I've just incorporated my love of history and politics, and so got a junk shop down in South Lubbock called Antiquology. So
okay, yeah,
it's my current gig.
Cool. So talk to me. I'm trying to decide how I want to go with this. Why don't you tell me how you got to Lubbock and born and raised here, all that fun stuff.
I'm second generation Red Raider. My husband is a third generation Red Raider. Okay. So we are Lubbockites, born and bred. We've told our kids if they would like their education paid for and sponsored by Team Allen, they will be Red Raiders. So we'll see how that goes. We know that they can't wear burnt orange or maroon, but other than that, we'll just play it by ear. But met my husband at Tech, and before that, my parents met at Tech, and we just stuck around. So I married a Lubbock boy, and this is our home. So we don't know life outside of it. I graduated from Tech in 2003, I guess, and right after that, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And my mom worked in the dental field. I knew I needed to make a paycheck and support the family. So Josh had a job at his dad's accounting firm, and so I went to work in the dental field, and it was great. So kids, if you need a good paying job right out of college, just go work for a dentist. It's normally quality people and nice small home-owned businesses. And so I worked in the dental field about 18 months, and my mom was friends with Matt Powell, and he was running for district attorney back then. And so I helped out on his campaign a little bit, and I got my feet wet on, I was raised in politics a little bit. My mom, I remember stapling yard signs together whenever I was growing up. She was always volunteering for some campaign or some cause. And so that was kind of bred in me from when I was young, the how important service is, and especially public service and charities and whatnot. So after the dental world, I got offered a job with Congressman Nagelbauer just as a fluke. I was helping with a fundraiser for Matt Powell, who was running for district attorney. Of course, now he's already retired, and so this was a long time ago. And a friend of mine said, are you looking for a job? And I said, well, I'm always looking for a job. My husband taught me that. Everything is for sale, and you're always looking for a job because, you never know what the future's going to hold. And so I said, sure. And I went and met and had an interview, and I was the assistant to her for about 6 months, to my friend Carla Moran. And then about 6 months after I was there, she was ready to pass the torch on to me. And so Randy called me one day. He's like, well, kid, you ready to do this? And I was like, sure, let's go.
Let's make it happen.
I think I was 26, and I stayed so he was in office a couple years before I came on board. And then I worked for him till the day he retired 11 years later. And gosh, that was an incredible run. The things that I was able to learn from people, Charlie Hamilton, I don't know if you know Charlie, but he's a developer here in Lubbock, but he's an outstanding mentor. I know you've had Blake Buchanan on your show before, and another outstanding mentor for people, just behind them in the path of, our journeys. But Charlie taught me that you can always teach somebody something, especially people that are behind you age-wise and career-wise growing up. And so I always tried to have interns in the office. That way I could hopefully teach them something that somebody taught me.
Sure.
And so Charlie was an outstanding mentor, and I learned a ton and was just really blessed to be surrounded by quality people that, and Democrats and Republicans, it didn't matter. Back then it was different. My last day, I guess, working for Randy was Trump's first day in office. That's just the way, well, not necessarily. It was the 1st of January. Yeah. There's a few month lag between Congress and when the president's sworn in. But the people get along in Washington. I don't know if it's that way anymore necessarily, but used to, you had a common goal. You didn't necessarily agree on many things at all, but you were doing truly what you felt was right for your constituents. Sure. And so everybody kind of got along. There was a sense of camaraderie, and I just learned a lot. I learned not to be in the hallway when Nancy Pelosi was coming down the hall. One time I was in D.C. with a group of with a group of people, and we were in the rotunda, and she comes flying down the hall, and I guess staffers just knew to get out of the way. Well, I wasn't a DC staffer per se. I mean, I didn't know the rules.
Sure.
And so I was in an area where it was mainly staff only, these tunnels, and I didn't get out of the way fast enough. There's always stuff to learn. But
did you get scolded or run over?
Yeah, and then one time I got in the wrong elevator. You know, there's elevators for the special members, and you know, just a lowly gopher staff member. You know, they're giving a tour or something, and I was in the wrong
equally
elevator.
Paid for by tax members.
Yeah, but
not equally distributed.
Well, I know, but you gotta pay your dues.
Sure,
you know,
it's
just
fair
like
enough.
any career. Exactly. You know, you got to pay your dues and earn your keep. And so I was low man on the totem pole back then. So you know, I learned a lot.
Sure,
so,
that's awesome.
But I think the reason that I make kind of some bold choices, like, so I decided to start a junk shop, and now I have a 19,000 square foot antique store, and I've never done retail in my life. I mean, I worked at Banana Republic in college, but that was about the extent of my retail experience. And I made bold choices because I just saw these people before me that if you don't go big, like, sure, you'll grow, but you'll grow at baby steps, and you'll just learn along the way that if you take a big risk, you know. And I've been burned before. My gosh, I have this page called Trading Up. It's on social media. And so I started it about 8 years ago, maybe 6. I don't know. Time it molds together, but
sure.
So I decided, wait, this is really great. People were talking to me about, you know, you can make money off this. You can make money off this. And I really didn't want to. The whole point of it was just basically a community service. Like, it helped me. Gosh, I was that mom that I had a baby at home, and I didn't have a way to, you know, make extra money to go get my nails done or, you know, whatever. And so I thought, what a great opportunity this would be for, you know, moms who need a little extra money in their home raising these babies that they can buy and sell their stuff. So I took a chance, and I spent quite a chunk of change on moving it to a website. Terrible idea. Guys, if you want to move something off of Facebook and start your own selling platform, ask someone for advice other than me.
Okay.
So but I think, again, that's why I can go bold is because I've messed up, and it's cost me a lot. And so I moved Trading Up off of Facebook selling platform, which, hello, they know what they're doing. It's Facebook. And I moved it to its own platform. And it cost a lot of money, and it was a huge failure. Okay. People shop on Facebook because they're on Facebook.
Yeah, the community's already there.
The community's there. Why in the world would I try to recreate this community that has taken geniuses millions and billions of dollars, and they did it successfully?
Yeah.
So, Chanda, you can't do it better than that. So I learned, like, that was a tough lesson. It was a tough lesson. So Trading Up was off of Facebook for about a month on my own selling platform, and people didn't like it because then they had to go to a different platform to shop when they just want to shop while they're on Facebook. You know, they do. And so I closed it down and moved it back to Facebook. And so, you know, since then, it's a great success. But it's a ministry. I don't make any money off of it, and none of the admins do, but it helps so many people. I mean, it's helped me. It just helps people. So, you know, you can get paid in dividends besides cash. So, need to remind my husband that when he's writing off that debt. Hey, I know how I can make trading. For him. I know how I can make Trading Up better. Yeah. But anyway,
Josh, if you're listening to this, it's supposed to be a ministry. Okay.
Yes, it's a ministry.
When you see it's lost thousands of dollars, it's a tax write-off. Okay.
Community service. That's right. So.
It's amazing. That's right.
That's good. That's good.
Yes.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, it is a win-win. Yep. Okay, well, there's a lot there that you were saying that your experience has been great. And so I'm trying to think where I want to go with this because there's so many places I could go. But let's start with
humility. I can talk a lot about humility.
You want to talk about humility?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? So the end goal here is, right, we want to always provide value to the listeners. That's right. I always preach like gratitude is necessary for success. But on the back end of that, humility is also on that forefront. So let's talk about through some of these, you know, failures, but also vast successes.
Yeah.
How do you remain that humble person throughout that? When the world around you is great success, massive failure, great success, how do you stay kind of in that middle and stay humble? Therapy? Okay. Okay.
No, I'm a big advocate for everybody needs somebody to talk to. Absolutely. But I have learned, I can say this 1,000%, whether it's my marriage or my kids or my businesses, I learn more from bad turns than I learn more from the rough times than I do from success. Like the store just had a great month. I've been open 3 months. July was amazing. But I learned more in April when I opened, when I wasn't selling very much. Yeah. When I was like, oh crap, what have I done?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing like in your marriage, you know, when it's tough times, when you're not liking the person you're sleeping with at all. And, you know, you're struggling. Josh and I had fertility issues. Yeah. We learned you grow so much more in the hard times than you do the successful times. So I think that's why, I don't know. I just think that's what humility is good. It is good medicine for any success. And so I think if I would have only had blue skies with everything, I don't know that I would be as bold in my decision making for businesses. I wouldn't be as a risk taker because I know what it's like to lose everything.
And I think it comes from, and this is just oozing from you right now as you're talking, it's just being real with yourself, right? Like you're just right now in real time being real with yourself. Like, you know, we had these hard times, we've had these good times. Like I think at the end of the day, the most humble people are the ones that are able to look at themselves in the mirror and objectively say like, I'm good at this and I'm not so good at this. And I need to improve on that.
That's why I'm in therapy. You know, that's why I firmly believe in good counselors and life coaches. And
absolutely.
You know, there's people call it different things about what they need, but you can't do life by yourself at all. And so I've learned, it's funny. So I used to live life on energy drinks and Benadryl. Like I'm going to teach your listeners something here real good. Yeah. So I would drink 5 or 6 energy drinks a day. I'd pop a diet pill, and then to go to bed, I would down children's Benadryl, uppers and downers. You know what I'm saying? I was a fast-paced life, and that's how I competed. Until one day, when you drink a lot, hey listeners, when you drink a lot of energy drinks, you stroke out and you get to go to the emergency room because you're passed out cold on the floor. And that was me. And I came to a stopping point one day. And it was really the most sobering and the best thing that has ever happened to me, honestly, because you can't live life artificially like that. You can do it for a short term, but you can't do it for a long time. And so that day I ended up in the hospital. And my doctor is a friend of mine, and he sat down on the end of the bed. Sorry, millennials, I'm about to step on y'all's toes. He sat on the end of my bed and he said, Chanda, I think you're dealing with a little bit of anxiety here. And I said, I am not a millennial. I do not have anxiety. Are you kidding me? I am a responsible adult. I have children. And he was like, I hear you. Yeah, so everybody has a little bit of anxiety. I was like, I do not have anxiety issues. My gosh, that's ridiculous. And guess what? I had anxiety, and I was just
wound up tight,
and just self-prescribing myself energy drinks to keep on going and to avoid the things that I didn't want to work on. And so the best thing that happened to me is that I came to a screeching halt. Yeah. And so now I have one healthy energy drink a day.
Okay.
V8 Energy. It's green tea. Okay. I have a little promo there for that.
Okay. Shout out to V8.
Shout out to V8 Healthy Green Tea. I still love my Starbucks, but I realized that I cannot do it all. And I don't want to do it all. And I don't want to be everything for everybody. And that was a hard pill for me to take.
Oh, that's tough.
Is that I can't fix everybody's problems, and I shouldn't be able to fix them. So, man, I could talk to you all day long about all the good things I've learned because of the tough times that I've been through.
Yeah, man.
This got a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be.
Right, listen, especially women that are business owners and that are leaders in our industry. We don't want to talk about it because that makes us look weak, and that makes us look like we're not good moms. And that's just all a big old...
It's just a facade.
Panelized. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I am of the opinion that you should, teach people what you have learned. And I don't want some woman or guy, a year from now who is living a life like I was living to think that that's okay or think that it's needed. It's not needed. They don't need you. The world is going to continue on. And
just chill out.
Just chill out. And just be honest with your inabilities.
Yeah. Well, we could just shut the episode down right there.
How about that, guys?
No more, no points need to be made. Thank you for watching WunderCAST. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Best episode to date. Sorry, other guests. See you later.
That's
I'm your
really
first
real,
female guest, right?
I've had some since we've been doing this format. Yes, I interviewed a couple last year.
You got to watch out when you bring the women on.
That's right.
We'll bring it.
Well, now we gotta start taking notes ahead of time to know that this is how it's gonna be. I mean, my gosh, it's gut wrenching.
Yeah, I had.
Awesome, do y'all want to talk about appetizers or something better? Like, no. Walk-Ons has a new location.
This is great. This is genuine content. I really do.
No, this is what we live for. Like, seriously, like, sometimes I have to kind of direct the guest into this lane, and you're here, man.
I have a degree in communications. I have the gift of gab.
Yes.
I'll talk to you about
I love that.
And also an antique store. Takes a real pearl to be able to, I have some elderly people that come in every week, and I love them. Y'all, I know about their kids. I know about their health problems.
Okay.
I know about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And so you got to love to talk if you're going to own an antique store.
Absolutely. I think you just got to love to talk if you own a business, period. Well, if you want to run,
if you want to be.
In Ryker's case, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I think the good ones. I think the good ones are good communicators.
Yeah, for sure. I think over communication is something. It's a skill that a lot of people, I think, knock on. And I to Alex's point, I do talk a lot, but I feel like I'd rather over communicate than under communicate. I think that's super important. But yeah. Wow. So we're getting into the heavy stuff right away, and I love that because I myself, I started WunderTRE 5 years ago. When I was 21. So I'm 26 right now. And
I could be your mom.
Yes.
Yeah, we can embrace that.
Well,
it's okay.
You don't look like you could be my mom. So
You're
shout
kind.
out. Yeah. No, for real. Like, no, I really didn't think you could be my mom. For real.
I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, pulled one over on me there.
Yes.
No, but so I think really as bad as 2020 was for a lot of people, it really took a 2020 for somebody like me to realize that just got to chill the hell out,
Yeah,
like seriously,
absolutely.
And I mean, I say that and the people around me are like, wow, you're probably still wound up real tight. But, I very much resonate when you were saying like, you don't have to be everything for everyone and do everything. Cause I've put that responsibility on myself, like willing WunderTRE to where it is now. Like I just put that on my back and try to get it to where it is. And I know so many people that are listening to this, they're probably in that same position right now. Cause you feel this weight on you when you're going out and you're striking out and you're making this business, or you're setting off and you're doing this. Maybe you're the first one in your family to go to college, or it doesn't matter if you're starting a business. It's typically like the first time you're setting out to do something, you feel this unnecessary pressure. And usually the one that's putting the pressure on you is not on the outside. It's yourself. Yeah. You look in the mirror.
The cold reality is the world is going to continue on without us. Like we people who like to take on big responsibilities, we like to, be the movers and shakers in the community or whatnot. Community is going to go on without us. Like it doesn't need us. We can add value to it, and that's special. But that's the humility. That's the kicker for me that I learned the most. During my, I don't know, in the 60s, you would call it a breakdown, right?
Uh-huh.
During my breakdown, I didn't have a breakdown, but during that time that I was learning about anxiety, learning about, these pressures that I artificially put on myself, the most sobering thing, the reality to me was the world's going to be okay without me. I can step away, and by me stepping away from playing in center court allows someone else to play in center court, and I can cheer them along. Yeah. And that's just a season of life that I'm big in seasons of life.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
I'm coming out of a season of life that my kids needed me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
My kids are 9 and 13. They can do things on their own now. And that, it's bittersweet. I'm not changing any diapers, but I'm not paying for any diapers. I mean, if you have little kids, you know that. But
yeah, I have a 4-month-old. So
yeah,
I know
you're drowning in diaper and formula debt.
Yes.
But so just the season of life. So the season of life that I was formerly in was that I wasn't on center court anymore, and that is good because it allowed someone else to be there, and I can be on the sidelines cheering them along and trying to help them out. And then now I've rested during that season, and I'm, kind of back in the ball game with Antiquology. We're doing another the restaurant business. It goes on without you.
Yeah. Yes.
Continually evolving, but just your little community. They're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You just do what you can do.
Yeah. And, to the point you were talking about, like the cold reality is like, do you know who Gary V is? Gary Vaynerchuk?
Mm-mm.
Okay. He's a pretty popular like marketing influencer. He really talks a lot to millennials and Gen Z. But he was asked one time, just like off the cuff, like, give me like 3 words of inspiration. And he turns like, you're going to die. And those and those are honestly really powerful words. It's like, wait a second, I am going to die. So live every day with purpose, but also with like this stress of like, it doesn't matter how hard I work, I'm still going to die one day. Right. Yeah. So don't take that as a self-defeating mentality, but just take it as like, enjoy your life while you have it. And there'll be a life that goes on beyond you. There was one that was there before you. And you just have the part to play that God's given you. You know,
That's
you're here, you're at bat for a little bit, and you just live the life the way you can.
And you're on your way out. So like Charlie Hamilton, you got to teach somebody behind you because you're on your way out.
Yeah, that's great. And that's kind of what I'm hoping that we do with this podcast. You know, I don't know what podcast hosting platforms will be around in 80 years, but hopefully somebody can still access this episode, and, you know, get value from it. But let's kind of do a hard shift for just a minute. I love that we're talking about this, and hopefully we can kind of circle back around into it, but let's do like a hard pivot into just some of the successes and some of the things that you've seen. I know we're kind of COVID's still around and stuff, but like being in the business and the restaurant industry and stuff, like talk to me about what it was like just navigating the world and the constant changes in the regulations and dealing with employees that are having to put up with this chaos as well in their world. Like, talk to me about that.
Well, first of all, I'll cover the good stuff.
Okay.
We needed that shakeup, I feel, in the industry, because it took out a lot of the stuff that the fluff, stuff that doesn't matter. If you'll notice now, if you see a business professional in a suit, have you noticed that? Have you looked around?
Yeah,
it changed fashion.
Yeah.
Think about it. I was thinking about this the other day. I follow sales. You know, I'm a shopper. I love to shop. Sales now, you know, the Nordstrom sale, all these big sales. It's all they're trying to get rid of business professional attire. They're trying to get rid of their high heels. They're trying to get rid of, because the shift became more casual, because it became only the stuff that was necessary.
Yeah. And this is like the most dressed up I am usually.
Yes, and all the other fluff that was associated with American capitalism went away overnight. People started working the same $1 million, 6-figure professionals that were doing what they were doing for the Fortune 500 companies. Were doing it the same day the next way. Then they were doing the same things. They were doing them different ways. They were doing them from home, in their pajamas, with their kids all around, because that was the necessity. So it didn't change what was happening. It changed how it was happening, where it was happening, and the stuff that wasn't important, the professional address, the $1 million skyscraper offices with a view, those all changed. And you saw that wasn't really necessary all the time to complete the tasks that needed to be completed, especially in these big Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah.
So they all began working remotely, when previous to that, oh no, we don't office remotely. You office in the office, you know, and so it just got rid of all the things, I think, that with an exclamation point, and highlighted them. What is necessary to business? What is necessary to continue my company competing at the highest level that it can? And it took away all the fluff, and it went away overnight. And so I think it's interesting how COVID affected not only business but fashion. Really, I think we'll learn a lot from this turn.
Okay.
And so I think those are the good things that this pandemic did, was that it took away necessities in the business world. It took away, sadly, the extra workforce that wasn't really needed. You know what I'm saying? For so long, because of personal issues, you want to hold on to Joanne, who's been, doing this for 40 years, but at the end of the day, was her spot necessary? Now that is a necessary evil,
Yeah.
You just, there were some things that went by the wayside because they could, but, and then that effect, then Joanne's out of work, and, that's just starts a whole other issue. But, I appreciated seeing the charities that stepped up to help people out. Lubbock Impact, a lot of the churches, Love Lubbock, the Dream Center. I really, I could start talking to you all day long about the situation we got into in welfare. I believe it's after the Depression, because the churches didn't step up and do what they needed to do to feed those among us, and so the government did. And so I did like what I saw with community outreach stepping up, whether that was religious, or it was just good nonprofits that are charitable, civic organizations, that they stepped up. And so I really liked seeing neighbors check on your neighbors and reach out. And then from the restaurant world, I thought we did a good pivot. It took a little bit, but I thought we did a good pivot of providing the to-go services.
Yeah.
Again, we cross-train a necessary evil. Our kitchen staff, they don't necessarily have the people skills or the presence to work the front office, to-go orders and taking orders and stuff like that. But a lot of our servers we cross-trained them to work the line. And so they were not only cooking, they were also, walking it out to the cars, greeting guests, taking orders. And so there was a lot of cross-training that went on. And so we could run a skeleton crew because we did not have the resources to keep these restaurants open, full capacity, full staff.
Yeah.
First of all, staff didn't want to work. They were sick. They were home we have a lot of college girls that work for us. They wanted to go home. They didn't need to be spending rent when there wasn't school in session and everything. So there's just a lot of necessary things that happened for whatever reason, and people adapted to them, and they made good pivots. And so I liked seeing how we just covered our bases with the to-go orders. I thought that the governor had a lot of missteps, but I think he did well in how he changed laws for liquor sales, for carry out and to go, and a lot of those antiquated things. Why can't you buy alcohol on a Sunday? Some of these things are just antiquated laws that. When push comes to shove, I'm kind of a libertarian, which is interestingly, but I'm just a conservative, and I don't want the government in anybody's bedroom. I don't want them in my bedroom. I don't want the government to tell me when I can buy a drink that I want to drink or not drink. I don't want the government to tell me when I can do a lot of things. Yeah. So that actually affiliates me with no party. Because there's no party that really... I was about to say, because like the Republicans want to tell you that you can't, how to spend your money and then like the liberals want to tell you, what you can and can't do. Yeah, so it's... and that just brings up the whole... Give me liberty or give me death. We need a sound effect for like libertarianism here. Yeah, so. I don't know. I think there's a lot of points to learn to how the founding fathers felt about all those. Oh yeah, no, you're surrounded by people that think that are on the same page as you. I'm a small government, state government kind of gal. Yeah, for sure. So, which you didn't ask me about, but thank you. Well, thanks for that question. Oh yes, you're good. Like that's just the reality of it. Is like last year I think really showed us. And we could spend probably too much time on this, so I'll avoid going too deep in it. But like, now that we've relinquished some of these rights and given the government the power they have, it's a scary world. We're not getting it back, guys. We're not. So. And here's the thing. I'm pro-vaccine. I'm pro-vaccine. Okay. But I am anti-mandated vaccine. Yeah. I believe in supporting my friends' rights that they don't want to vaccinate their children with anything. Yeah. Since when is the United States of America have the power to mandate that? Yeah. I don't think they should. Yeah. Although I will, and I'll give it to my kids. That's my choice. Sure. And so I just this is our time that I feel like we have to stick up for our friends. Sure. That we don't necessarily agree with, but gosh, that's okay that we don't agree with. Yeah, and that's America right there, right? Yeah. That's freaking America right there. So I want to take that thought of all of what we just talked about and apply that to businesses moving forward. How do you think that this weird place that we're in life right now, in America especially, with, do we force vaccines? Do we do this? Do we how do you foresee that affecting business landscape moving forward? Oh, good question. I don't know. It's scary. I talk about, I was just having a conversation. I have a brother in the healthcare field, and he's being deployed today. He's a part of Texas Task Force 1, which is the governor's emergency medical response to a number of emergencies. They've gone out for hurricanes before. They've gone out to tornado victims, and I think he's been deployed 3 times now for COVID. And so we have these small communities that they don't have adequate healthcare, and so the National Guard will go and set up tents and help serve the communities. And so I was just talking to my brother about this earlier, and just that Texas Tech is playing in New York and Rhode Island later this year, Texas Tech basketball. And all these people from Lubbock plan to go. Well, now you're hearing that, you can't eat in restaurants and you can't do that. New York City, and they so said no going shutting indoors. It down. And that's just where, again, I'm just sad for my friends that I don't necessarily agree with, but this is America. You know what I'm saying? People have to shift. This isn't going to work. I'm telling you right now, New York, this is a terrible idea. Yes. Because civil liberties have to step in here. Yeah. This is a civil liberty. Sure. Firefighters, think about this. Firefighters. So you have a burning building and you're told, don't go back in to get your cat, get out of the building. Well, that person makes a decision that that cat's important to them. Yeah. I hate cats. Sure. I'm not going back in a building for a cat one bit. But that person,
my heart breaks.
I'm sorry.
Alex is the cat person.
Okay, I'm sorry. So
hold on. That's not true.
Okay.
I'm a life person. I don't like when things die at all. So like, I have a soft spot for any animal. So I have a dog and a cat, and I love them both. Okay. Continue. Sorry, I didn't.
No, I'm this. Okay. Well, hear me out. Let me see if you agree with this. Let me oppose this. So firefighters yelling, "Do not go back in that building and get that cat. The building's going to burn down." Yeah. So against professional sound advice, okay, that person's going to go back in and get that cat. And you know what that firefighter's going to do? Because he lives a life of service, he's going to run after that person and save them. Okay. So I'm hearing on this COVID vaccine, people are not getting the vaccine they're going against possibly sound medical advice. And the doctors are American doctors, and we're going to treat them anyway, right? Yeah. Because that's the American spirit, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
It's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
We should not have doctors saying, I'm not going to deliver that baby because that mom is a Catholic and she doesn't do birth control, and I don't agree with that, so I'm not going to help her deliver that baby.
Yeah.
Since 1000%. When is that okay?
Yeah.
And it's not.
No.
I don't agree with necessarily everything.
It's like the Hippocratic oath that they take. Excuse me. Yeah.
Right. That we don't agree.
What?
But
you good there?
Yeah, sorry, like choking over here. I don't know. Yeah. The Hippocratic oath, that just got me choked. I don't even know. Jeez.
Do you need a moment?
that would tickled me. Sorry.
Okay. No, yeah.
And police officers, look at them. They'll if there's a shooting, the EMS responds to both, and they're going to save their lives for both. It's not. This is civil liberties, guys. Years from now, it's okay that people don't want to take the vaccine. It really is, and it's important for us that are pro-vaccine to stand up for those people, because this is a right. They have that right.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that don't share that sentiment with you, and it's like the pro-vax community is like, oh yeah, just screw the anti-vaxxers.
Let them die.
Yeah.
No, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Let them die. Yeah. What would have happened in the 80s, in the early 80s, if someone with AIDS, if these doctors would have said that, oh, you know what, let them die. They've got AIDS. I don't agree with them. I don't agree with their lifestyle. I'm not going to treat them.
Yeah.
That's what these medical professionals who, if they say that, it's the same thing. Yeah. You know what? We have to treat them anyway. We have to love them anyway. It's not our choice.
What's scary is that people are starting to say that, and they're kind of getting away with it.
They
and it's like becoming normal.
That's why I don't know how y'all feel about it. I don't need to know. It doesn't matter. Because I'm willing to say I'm pro-vaccine, and I'm going to support my friends that are anti-vaccine. Whether that's the
mRNA,
whether that's a childhood or the flu vaccine.
Yeah.
I got a friend, I won't say her name, but she's one of my best friends in the world. She won't give her kids the flu shot ever.
Yeah.
They take every other vaccine but the flu shot, because she feels she had a grandfather who passed away, and they feel like it was from a flu vaccine, years of it. I don't know if that's true. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm going to support her right to, I think it's silly. My gosh, I get the flu vaccine every year.
Okay.
But I love her.
Yeah.
And my gosh, that is absolutely her right, and I'm going to stand up for it.
Sure.
And y'all need to too. Why isn't the ACLU not involved in this already?
Yeah.
I'm serious. I know y'all are like, well, let's think about this. It's their right.
Yeah.
It's their right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I love this. Honestly.
Yeah, this is good.
This is great.
So I think it's also important for those of us who disagree to stand up for them also and to support them. Yeah. I think it's also important that we talk about it and we put it in terms that they would understand, like the firefighter running into the building.
Yeah.
That lady or the guy running after the cat, you running after your cat, you went against everybody telling you, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. But we're going to save your life anyway, because it's a life to be saved, and it's a value. If you love your cat, you love your cat.
That's right.
This is Chanda Allen 2028, right?
Yeah. No. Retired. No. Let me tell you, the thing I learned from politics, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, does not matter.
Yeah.
Those people really do sacrifice. And I know we joke about it, and there's comedians that are like, Trump golfed 80 times, Obama golfed whatever times. It's hard, and it's not fun. And it's every single hour of Randy's day was scheduled by a scheduler, and that's no life. I mean, it is a life of service.
Yeah.
It is a hard life. And in this season of my life, my kids are my priority. And
Sure. Well, let's talk about that, being out of that lifestyle now, being able to be in this season of life that you're in. where do you see yourself kind of now in this season of life with the new business and with your kids being the age they are now? Like, what are you looking forward to and that kind of fun stuff?
Man, you blink and they're grown.
Yeah.
Like, this is the last summer that I won't have a high school kid, which is so weird to imagine that. But a friend of mine, it's a depressing statistic. Jenny Altman, quit posting these depressing statistics. She posts this thing about how many days you have with your child from the time they're 1 year old to 17. I'm like, what the heck with the Debbie Downers? But it is a sobering reality. Yeah. It's the truth. We only have a limited amount of time. And so, I'm enjoying this season. I love being a business owner. Like, it's fun. It's fun taking risks, and it's fun adding value to your community. I just think it's fun, especially the retail world and restaurants. It's been fun. So, I don't know. I'm not saving lives. I don't, run a pro bono healthcare clinic, but I think people have fun when they come into my store, and it gives them something fun to do on a Saturday and Sunday. And so I'm just enjoying this season right now. We do have a new walk-ons. Thanks for asking.
Yes.
Opening.
Yes.
Just kidding.
I know I asked off camera. I'm sorry.
122nd and Quaker. And so, but don't ask me when, because I would be lying to you, because in restaurant world, city permitting world, construction world, there's, you never know, but it's going to happen.
Sure.
And so we're working on, the permitting right now and all the design and development, but it's going to be fun. And so we're enjoying the season that we get to travel, and my kids are older, and it's the season of sports for us.
Sure.
So I have 2 athletic kids that my 9-year-old asked me the other day if he could specialize in baseball. He's not even that good in baseball either. I'm like, no, we don't specialize. Are you kidding? And then I tell him about, Tim Tebow and all the really great athletes. They played all the sports, everything that they could get their hands on. And my kids go to a small school to where they're able to play all the sports. And so I really enjoy that until it's time for scheduling in the fall. And it's like, divide and conquer. And Josh will go to some games and I'll go to some practices, and we just do the best we can.
Nice.
That's a blessing of living in Lubbock, man. Our friends live in Dallas, and gosh, they're driving. They are living life in their cars. In Lubbock, 10 minutes gets you anywhere. Except for the airport.
Yes. And that's something about Lubbock that a lot of people just, I think, take for granted. But you can do all of those sports because you're not spending an hour and a half to get to one sport.
That's right.
Yeah. You're able to go from this practice field over here to across town in, blink of an eye pretty much. Right. So that's right. Great. Well, let me talk to you about, I want to know what it's like opening up as you said, a junk store. That's, like the stuff that you have there. It's pretty, you got a smattering of things, right? And I've seen some cool pieces. Personally, I haven't been there yet. I still need to come by, but I've seen some stuff. I know.
That's like Jay Leno having me on the show when I wrote a book and you haven't read the book or seen the movie.
I know. It's terrible. I'm sorry. But I know some of the stuff that comes from your story, and it's really cool, the stuff I've seen. Like, you've got the punching bag and stuff that Chase bought for me, and that stuff is cool. Talk to me about, the pardon your enthusiasm. Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to do it really, really quiet, so it was playing in the background.
I thought that was the end music. No, I was like, buddy, you better finish up this sentence real fast.
I'm about to get wrecked. No. Just bringing a store like you have in Antiqueology, it's very unique, I think, for Lubbock, right?
Yes.
Talk to me about what it's like to run a store like that in Lubbock that's maybe bringing in some more artisan stuff that maybe people aren't used to seeing, or stuff like that. That's what I was trying to go with that long-winded question.
That's probably the best compliment I get from people that come in the store, or the compliment that I like the most, is that they say, this doesn't look like Lubbock. And I love that it just brings in some flair. Sometimes we Lubbockites, I'm guilty of it, we get in our rut and we kind of just do the same things. And so I've worked really hard, and I love to travel. And so I've worked really hard at getting some really cool pieces, especially from up north. Antiques are a dime a dozen. Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, New York, New Jersey. And because of Corona, so I got this idea. I move quick and then slow. So I got this idea maybe 9 months ago to open an antique store. And so I was looking around town. The Obstacle Warrior for Kids building sadly didn't survive Corona because, kids can't come do an obstacle course if everything's locked down. So the building was available, and I thought, okay, let's do it. Let's do this. My husband calls it my junk store. It makes me so mad because it is not junk. Y'all need to come and see it. But anyway, but I love sports. Sports is my jam. So I've got a lot of Yankee stuff from the 20s and 40s, and some good quality. There's a man down in Midland that comes to see me, and he runs like basketballmuseum.com or something like that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. It's something like that.
Okay.
And so he'll come in the store, and I'll have a tag that says like 1908 9-laced white basketball. Basketballs used to be white. And he'll be like, "Oh no, that's a 1907." I mean, this man is genius. He is a wealth of information. So I love when he comes. But anyway, so I love meeting these people, and I love being able to bring this stuff to Lubbock because it's not hard to do it. You know, with the shutdown, especially up north. I'm a dealer, so I can bid in these dealer auctions that have all moved online because they can't run their auction houses in person anymore. And so it opened up a whole new opportunity for me to acquire some really outstanding pieces, especially from up north. And I had shippers that brought them down here. And so it can be done. It's just kind of hard. You know, you have to find the right semis. I have a general store piece that's coming in. It's about 15 feet tall. So we're trying to find the right type of semi that can bring this in, but it's going to be killer. And it's going to show Lubbock is an old community, but we're not that old, especially for Texas and especially for the U.S. You know, something in Lubbock that's from, 1910. We were started in 1911, right?
Yeah.
Incorporated. And then Tech 1923. And so things in Lubbock are not that old, and it's fun to bring in old stuff, especially we live in a rich part of Texas that does have a lot of heritage. It has a lot of historical wealth to it. We've just got to showcase that. And so Lubbock has a great antique community already. There's so many quality antique stores. They're mainly in North Lubbock because those are where the large locations are that the rent is appropriately priced. I just pay insane rent in South Lubbock because that's where the new business is. And so you got to pay to play. And so I believe there's only a couple of antique stores, in the area. And so I just love it. People go to farmers market on Saturday, and then they drop over and they shop with us. So
nice.
It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a ton because I didn't know anything about it. So I'm just learning by trial and error.
That's how you have to do it. The trial by fire, I think, is like the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's been loads of fun.
Yeah, just jump in. You never know what might be on the other side. Yeah. So, well, Alex is just giving us the cue that we have just a few more minutes left. Okay. So, with that said, I'm going to go into the only recurring segment that we have on the show. We call it Tic-Tac-Toe.
Okay.
We used to play Tic-Tac-Toe, but I always had to let the guest win because it was 3 questions. And so like the way it lined up, the guest always had to win. So we call it Tic-Tac-Toe, but it's tip, tactic, total domination. So I'm going to ask you first, what's a tip that you have for like business or just something you've picked up along life that you carry with you? And if you could share it with somebody, it would be this. If
you're really passionate about it, do it. If the Lord has put something in your mind that, you just feel like this is new to Lubbock, this is right now is pretty great time to start a business. The current shutdown was tough. Business is stabilized now and it's starting to grow. People are getting out and about, spending those checks the government's sending, but that's here nor there.
Yeah. Child tax credit early on, get that. Yeah.
But I just think now's the time. Why not? Try it. So if you've got something on your heart you've really been wanting to do and you're passionate about, try it.
Yeah, we need to get the cue in the Shia LaBeouf, just do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just do it.
What's the worst that can happen?
Absolutely. All right, next, talk to me about like a tactic, like something tangible that you do in your life to help you set up, your lifestyle or something that you just, again, that you carry with you that you just find yourself doing.
Every other week I go to a therapist and I talk things through. And I talk business through with her. I talk family stuff, kids, parenting advice. Yeah. So everybody needs a mentor. You've got to, whether you call that a life coach, a friend, a buddy, accountability partner, can't do life alone. So everybody needs somebody that's not your spouse. That's not your best friend necessarily.
You can't put that on them all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, and their view is going to be clouded to, stuff that benefits them too. Yeah. And so you just got to have somebody in your corner that you can talk to.
Yeah. I want to back that up too and say like that is low key extremely important. The fact that you go to a therapist every other week. I myself do the same thing every other week. And it helps you manage stress in life and years like last year and stuff like that.
Yeah, like perspective is one of the humility and perspective. That's all you need.
I've noticed myself being just a better human, but more efficient and making better decisions since I've been doing it. So love that point, and that's never been brought up before, and that's a great one. Last is total domination. So what's something that you do to totally dominate the day some people talk about their nighttime routine or their morning routine.
Well, I love the Lord. So I do Bible study every day, and I do my quiet time with the Lord, pray about it, think through. And the other thing that I do, I have that V8 energy drink, that healthy one.
Shout out to V8, man.
Shout out again,
this episode is not sponsored by V8, but it should be.
It will
be now. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll send it over to him.
No, that's great. No, and that's something that a few guests have shared that sentiment as well, as that time with the Lord, the Bible study, things like that in the morning. Personally, I don't do that as much as I probably
Okay, well, you're married though, right?
Yes.
The average married couple today only spends 2 minutes of alone time together. Doesn't count Netflix, doesn't count, you can't count watching TV together. But the average American married couple spends 2 minutes of alone time together per day. That sucks. That's terrible.
That's terrible.
So total domination, spend 5 minutes of quality time with your spouse a day, and
you're already more than
you're doing double better than anybody else.
Jeez, that's also just kind of very sad though. Like that's
sad.
Very sad.
It's the reality.
Get better, world. Jeez. So awesome. Now, well, Chanda, thank you so much for being a part of this, and we really enjoyed having you on.
Happy to.
This was heavy. It was good.
I'm sorry.
It was hard hitting.
Sorry.
I like this.
Don't be sorry.
This is a conversation right here. This wasn't just like superficial.
When you bring an old lady on the show, this is what happens.
And shout, not the other guests have been superficial by any means, but this wasn't just like a superficial thing. This was real. It was authentic. People can walk away with it with some value. So thanks again.
Thank you.